Sakshi, I would please put up your camera. Namaskar to all. Myself, Mr. Sandeep Choradia, on behalf of Anekant Education Society's Tulzaram Chadurchand College, Baramati, Department of Zoology, Fulton Education Society's Mudoji College, Fulton, and Biovision Charitable Trust. I welcome all the dignitaries, Dr. Girish Jatha, Dr. A.R. Gaikwad sir, Professor Sanjay Kumar Swami sir, and all the participants of this webinar. Now, I request Dr. R.G. Kudale sir, Head of the Department of Zoology, TC College, Baramati, to give a short introduction about today's webinar. Please, Dr. Kudale sir.
Namaskar. Good afternoon and welcome to one and all. I am Dr. Kudale RG here to introduce you about today's one-day webinar on endemic birds of northern western Ghats of India. First of all, I will give a brief introduction of our college and the department. Our Tulzaram Chadurchand College has been established in 1962 by the Anekant Education Society, Baramati. Our Department of Biology is also started from the same year. But for the graduation level, it is started in the 1982, and at PG level, it is started in 1993. That is, for the post-graduation, zoology as a subject and entomology as a specialization is started in 1993. Now I'll give just a brief introduction about this webinar. It is jointly organized by the Department of Zoology of our college, that is Tulzaram Chadurchand College, Baramati, West Pune, and Mudoji College, Fulton, run by Fulton Education Society, Fulton, and Biovision Charitable Trust, Pune. Now the reason behind it, that is, on behalf of National Bird Week celebration in the honor of late Dr. Salim Ali, ex-director of BNHS, that is Bombay Natural History Society, and ex-forest officer and naturalist Shri Maruti Chitampalli, Forest Department, Maharashtra, presently residing in Solapur. Its reason is mainly to educate the youth of Maharashtra, students of Maharashtra and farmers of Maharashtra for educate them about the importance of bird, their role in the ecosystem as the pest control, insect controlling agent, and for the purpose of the pollination of certain plants, seed dispersal of certain plants, and that is why the conservation of birds is necessary. So, to educate, to aware the students, farmers, and youth of the Maharashtra, this webinar, one-day webinar is organized. Thank you and welcome one and all again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kudoy sir, for your brief introduction about this webinar. Now, I request Dr. A.R. Gaikwad sir, Head, Department of Zoology, Zoology College, Fulton, and in charge principal, to give keynote address to this webinar. Dr. A.R. Gaikwad sir, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, today we organized a one-day webinar on the endemic birds of the southwestern Maharashtra and related to the Western Ghats, especially. The main chief guest of this webinar, Dr. Girish Jatar sir, Associate Director of Bombay Natural History Society. I welcome him in the behalf of as a principal of the Zoology College Fulton and a chairman of the Biogen Charitable Trust, along with as already Dr. Ravi Kudre sir also welcome these dignitaries, those who are participating in this webinar. So the purpose of the webinar already told by the Dr. Ravi Kudre sir. I'm not going in that. But the birds, they are actually, this animal is very fascinating and have a lot of love from the human being. And it gives a pleasure to the human being. The purpose of this webinar already told by the Dr. Ravi Kudre sir. But the endemic birds of this region, we are Satara and Pune districts. These are parts of the Western Ghats. And here several birds are there which are endemic to this region. Several birds we are visited by this area. Winter visitors are also there. Several migratory birds are also there coming. But the human related to rather than the zoology, they are not knowing what are the endemic birds in this region. So for that purpose, this lecture is very essential. Several birds are there having the nesting behavior in this habitat. They are living in this habitat. They are residential in this habitat, and they are endemic to this region. So these birds we must know about them. And the main purpose of this organizing this webinar and in the week of the bird, National Bird Week, this is the very important. So I welcome all the dignitaries and those who are participated in this webinar. I welcome in the behalf of the TC College, behalf of the Zoology College, and behalf of the Biovision Charitable Trust. Okay, with the brief this introductory keynote address, because we are just 7 minutes to class, and we have to re-listen the main lecture of the Dr. Girish Jatar sir. So I welcome again, and by this I'm giving to the organizer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. A.R. Gaikwad, sir, for your valuable keynote address to this webinar. Now, I request Professor Sanjay Kumar Swamy, sir, to express your views about this webinar. Dr. Sanjay Kumar Swamy, sir, is the secretary of the BioVision Charitable Trust, which is one of the co-organizers of this webinar. Dr. Swamy, sir, please. Swamy sir, please unmute yourself first. Swamy sir, your microphone is off.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, when you keep the sessions after post lunch, this happens that you get disorganized and you never know that whether your mic is mute or not. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. As Dr. A.R. Gaikwad sir has already said that he is the chairman of the BioVision Charitable Trust. Actually, he should have introduced the BioVision Charitable Trust to you. But anyway, because he also the principal and the co-host of this program, so he was speaking in a capacity of principal of that college, and therefore this opportunity has been given to me to introduce this BioVision Charitable Trust. In the establishment of BioVision Charitable Trust, we have a very interesting background to share. If anybody would like to share anything about BioVision, it cannot be completed without the name of the Zoology College Kharkar. The story goes long back since the establishment of Zoology department in Zoology College. This department has a unique ability to adhere and create emotional attachment to their students through their academic work. No wonder even after getting passed from this institute, all students remain in touch with this department. Part of being attached to this department means helping others. We as a student have raised up in such a way that the culture of helping each other has been inculcated among us. Department has taught us that helping anyone on this earth is like paying your rent or free stay on this earth. So this kind of culture has been inculcated among us right from very beginning. So we people as a student of Zoology College Fulton, we are always attached to this department or the college even after passing out of this college. So we always used to visit this college and we want to give back to this college. So naturally a few of us have come forward and decided to meet and extend our help to the needy students, as we also we have grown up from a very poor family, and many of us have excelled in their professional fields right now, but we never forget our department who has really helped us to come up with this stage. So out of this idea, we have conducted 3-4 alumni meet, and we have organized this kind of event in the Zoology College itself. And we have helped many of the students, and we have organized many programs. We contributed many things to the college as per the need. But to make all these things legitimate, we have come with an idea of establishing a trust which will have a broader goal and objective than what we were doing that time. Out of that concept, we have established a BioVision Charitable Trust in 2018. Though our work had already imprinted in the field of education, our actual work or the legitimate or on-paper work has started from 2018. A trust was established which was set to work in the field of education, research, wildlife, and environmental conservation. We have conducted many guest lectures, conferences, workshops in association with Zoology College Fulton. We have conducted a national level conference as well, and we have published nearly 80 research articles with a special issue. We have given scholarships to many needy and eligible students. We have organized exhibitions of wildlife photographs, conducted scientific poster presentations, competitions, and scientific research article presentations of students. the idea behind this was to inculcate the research kind of approach among the growing phase of the students, very early phase of their studentship. Our members belongs to the various fields and are actively involved in these activities. Now, this is about our Biovision Trust, and it is very much active in this field. And we have established this trust, citing the reason that we can help the students, we can work in the research, we can help ourselves to rear our own hobbies, which otherwise very difficult for us when we are in a different profession. Our members, as I told earlier, that they belong to the various fields and actively involved in these activities. Anybody can be a member of this trust, subject to the approval of our executive committee and as per the guidelines which are laid down by the trust. So I wish all the best to this webinar. I'm sure our guest speaker will engage you with a very interesting information that we are here to listen. And I hope you all will enjoy this session. Thank you very much for my patience listening. Thank you. If you have any questions, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Swami sir, for your views about this webinar, as well as the history of your foundation of the Biovision Charitable Trust. We are thankful to you for your kind cooperation for this webinar. Thank you very much. Now, I request Dr. Victor Nare sir to give a brief introduction about today's resource person, Dr. Girish Jathar sir. Now, I hand over Dr. Victor Nare sir for the introduction of Dr. Girish Jathar. Dr. Nare sir, please.
Good afternoon. Today I am here to introduce today's chief guest resource person, Dr. Girish Avinash Jathar. Sir, working as an assistant director in BNHS. Sir has completed his PhD in ornithology from Mumbai University. Dr. Jathar sir has been awarded with Young Ornithologist State Award and Ravi Shankaran Fellowship by INLAX India Foundation. Dr. Jathar is holding the portfolio of Climate Change and Himalaya Program as an Assistant Director in BNHS. He has also worked as Project Coordinator in various national projects. Sir has published a book on forest owlet, 1 book chapter, 11 research papers, 7 short communications, 8 reports in various national and international journals. Sir has attended about 6 international conferences and 2 national conferences. Dr. Jathar is associated with international and national associations such as Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History, Species Survival Commission, and Bustard Specialist Group of IUCN, Senior Research Associate at Global Owl Project, USA. Sir is editorial board member and reviewer for national journals like Indian Birds, Journal of Threatened Taxa, Journal of Bombay Natural History Society. Such a great person with us. So thank you. Curious.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nare sir, for giving introduction of Dr. Girish Jathar sir. Now, I request Dr. Girish Jathar sir to start today's session. Dr. Girish Jathar sir, please.
Thank you very much and good afternoon to everyone. I guess I am audible enough.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Modoji College Fulton, Biovision Trust, and TC College for giving me this opportunity. I also thank Dr. Kudre, Dr. Gaikwad, and Dr. Swami for giving me this wonderful opportunity to interact with students as well as farmers. So let's go towards today's subject, that is endemic birds. And I will share my screen with you people, and please give me a feedback once I share my screen, so that you will be able to see the screen. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. So, when we talk about today's topic is Indian endemic birds of northern Western Ghats and their conservation. So I'm particularly using a word Indian endemic because we are going to talk about the birds which are endemic to India, but they are found in northern Western Ghats, especially the Maharashtra part of it. And we carried out a study on these birds, and we came up with some very good information which I will subsequently share with you people. Let's go ahead and see what is endemism, because endemism is the most important part of this presentation. Once you understand the endemism, then you will be able to understand what is the importance of other aspects of it. Okay, so what is endemism? So endemism is basically coined by A.P.D. Condell in 1855 for the distribution of an organism which is limited to geographical area. That means he was talking about the organisms, birds, mammals, or insects, or reptiles, or plants, which are limited to a certain geographical area. So the term endemism was first coined by him in 1855. So it was long back. If we see some modern definitions of endemism, then David Coleman, who is a really great scientist, and he has written very good books. So in 1996, he reiterated endemism in a different way. So what he said, the endemism is one. The endemic species is the one that is evolved and has remained restricted to a particular place. So what he is saying that endemism or endemic organism is the species which has evolved. It has evolved at one place and it has remained at the same place for a long time in a particular place. So that is what the another definition of endemism is. And one more similar definition is given by Raxworthy and Nussbaum in 1996 at the same time. So patterns of endemism are the product of historical events associated with the speciation. I guess a lot of people in this program knows what is the speciation. Speciation means formation of a species. So patterns of endemism are the product of historical events associated with speciation. So endemism is again dependent upon the speciation aspect or speciation, what I would say, the two species are separating from each other. So that happens, and that is because of that the endemism happens. And what is the example given under the speciation is time, because time is a very important factor of this. So time, then place, and the type of speciation event. Speciation have it's a totally different subject, and it has many facets. So we may discuss about speciation some other time, but today we talk about endemism. Okay, so time, location, and the type of the event. So these three things determine the endemism, and then as well as the responses of the species to variable or changing ecological conditions. So how a particular species responds to its environments, to the changes happening in the environment and the ecological conditions at that time. So that is what is the endemism. So in brief, these three definitions try to make us understand what is the endemism. So in a simple colloquial language, we can say an individual which is evolved and remained at the same place for a long time is called as endemism. we will see what type of endemism or endemic species or what type of things which drive endemism and why it is important. So types of endemism, there are two types of endemism. One is called as a new endemism and the second one is called as a paleo-endemism. And this is very important. You need to understand this because this actually creates a difference between two different ecological and evolutionary phenomena. So new endemism is like a taxon is the evolutionary young and not spread over the new area. You may know that all human beings were evolved in Africa and then we spread across. So we extended our range. Okay, so here we are talking about a species, about an organism which is young, which is just evolved and is yet to spread across the landscape, across the habitats. Okay, so we have some examples like white-bellied shortwing, which is endemic to southern Western Ghats, which is only found in southern Western Ghats. Amboli toad. This particular organism is only found in Amboli village, nowhere else in the world. Koina toad, only in the basin of Koina river. Narcondam hornbill, only on Narcondam island. So the entire world for that particular bird or that particular toad is that particular place. So that is called as a new endemism because this species might have evolved there itself and remained there for a long time. Now, second interesting aspect is a paleo-endemism. It is also called as epibiotics or relics. Okay, the taxon is restricted now, but once it was widely distributed. That means once the species was widely distributed, but now because of the habitat degradation or many other factors, it has restricted to a smaller area. So everyone knows about the Asiatic lion. Asiatic lion is only found in Gujarat, as in the southern part of Gujarat, especially the Gir lion or Gir National Park and the surrounding areas. So it is restricted to that only that area. Okay, but earlier, maybe 100 years, not 100 years or maybe 200 years ago, it was widespread. It was spread in up to Uttar Pradesh, south up to Tamil Nadu, and some parts of Rajasthan as well. So the lion was spread across the bigger region, but now because of restrictions or maybe habitat degradation or hunting, it is now restricted to a smaller place, only a small place in Gujarat, that is Gir National Park. Okay, so that is called as a paleo-endemism, and here there are a lot of restrictions on the species, especially in the pockets, is due to the physical barriers like desert, mountain, sea, etc. So desert, mountain, sea, they create a geographical barrier, and these species could not cross that particular thing. That's why they remain restricted to a small area. Or the changes in climate because of climate change, habitat, soil type, etc. So these are the conditions which make this particular event possible. The very good examples are Indian rhinoceros, Asiatic lion, Great Indian Bustard. So Indian rhinoceros, you now know they are only restricted to Northeast India and some part of Uttar Pradesh. But earlier they were spread across right from the Sindh River, or I would say right from the eastern Pakistan to Burma. So that was a huge area which was covered by Indian rhinoceros, but because of several other aspects which are ecological in nature or climatic in nature, or because of hunting, they are now restricted to small pockets. So these particular species are also called as paleo-endemic, and neo-endemic we have already talked about. So now, what are the characteristics of the endemism? Here, three major characteristics which define the endemism are as follows. Species ranges are small compared to the whole region. Suppose we have Maharashtra and the species is only occurring in one district of Maharashtra, suppose Pune district of Maharashtra. So that is the first characteristic. The species is restricted to a small region as compared to the entire land mass available. Okay. The second one is their distribution limits are accurately known. This is very important because we know about the species occurrence, about the limits of its distribution. Let's take an example of a bird. which is called as a white-billed blue flycatcher. This bird is found in Western Ghats, and we now know it does not found anywhere else except for the Western Ghats. We know the distribution limits because we have studied this bird from last 200 years, and now we know that this is only restricted to Western Ghats or some parts of Western Ghats. It also is a habitat specialist. We'll come to that later. So distribution limit is another characteristic. And the third, validity of the species is not in dispute. This is very important because now, because of the growing technology, the genetics or the evolutionary studies using the phylogenetic approach, there is a lot of confusion about the species. Lot of species are not clearly defined morphologically, but when you go collect their blood sample or the tissue and do the phylogenetic studies, you may know that these two are different species. So, if there is no dispute about the validity of species, the species is valid, then it qualifies for the endemism. I will give you examples of this in my presentation, and we'll see more about these characteristics. Now, endemic bird areas. So, endemic bird areas are the regions of the world that represent natural areas of bird endemism. We are talking about bird endemism, where distributions of two or more restricted range species overlap. So, we have a lot of areas in the entire world occur and they overlap. So, that kind of a environment or that kind of a ecosystem is called as an endemic bird area. In entire world, we have 218 endemic bird areas, and 77% of them are located in tropics and subtropics. That is very interesting because this endemism is again restricted to tropics and subtropics. And if you go towards the poles, there is no endemism or very little endemism is found there because the environmental conditions are so harsh, so several organisms, they try to migrate towards tropics during the winter. So you may know about the migratory birds. So a lot of migratory birds come to India. There are more than 307 species. So they migrate from the northern hemisphere towards the equator and they come to India. But the endemic birds never migrate. They remain at the same place throughout the year. And tropics are the only places where the environmental conditions are more or less stable. So that is why you see more endemism in tropics and subtropics. Now let's talk about India. India has 7 endemic areas, which are the Western Ghats, Western Himalaya, Central Himalaya, Eastern Himalaya, Assam Plains, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these are the main 7 endemic areas. And in addition to that, there are 3 secondary areas. That is Eastern Andhra Pradesh. If you see the map of Andhra Pradesh, you will see the Eastern Ghat ranges and Kadapa Plateau. So this particular place is a very unique in the world. That is why the flora and fauna is also unique in that particular area. That is why Eastern Andhra Pradesh is, falls in that. In Southern Deccan Plateau, the Deccan Plateau covers actually 65% of India's landmass. Okay, and it has its unique signature. So that is why Deccan Plateau we can see as a very good example of endemism, and Fulton especially falls in Deccan Plateau, and you have very good bird life in Fulton, especially the grasslands of Fulton, and you see a very unique kind of a bird over there. Unfortunately, this is not a part of our presentation, but Sykes lark is the name of the bird, which is endemic to Deccan Plateau, and that is found in Fulton. Okay, and then last one is the Central Indian forest. This has again unique signature, and we see species like a forest owlet, on which I did my PhD. So that kind of birds are found in this particular region. Let's go to the next slide. Now, endemic bird profile of India. If we think about India, then India has 79 endemic birds. If we take example of Maharashtra, has 31, Maharashtra Western Ghats has a 28 birds, and we are going to talk about them today. And one unique bird is there, and that is found only in northern Western Ghats, nowhere else in the world. And we will talk about that also. Painted bushwell is the first bird. I want to get feedback. Are you able to hear and see my presentation? Can somebody respond?
Yes, sir. You are all.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, painted bushwell is a very interesting bird and very beautiful bird. And if you see on your right hand side, you will see the map. And it covers our northern Western Ghats, some part of Deccan Plateau. And here, if you see, it is also found in Satpura ranges and some part of central Indian forest, as well as towards the Eastern Ghats area. Okay, and this is a very interesting bird. It lives on the edges of the forest and very seldomly seen. Unfortunately, hunted a lot for its meat, as well as some people keep this particular bird as a pet. And let's listen to its call. I have embedded some calls of these birds. So this is about the call of the bird. We'll go to the next.
Sound is not audible. Bird sound is not audible.
Bird sound is not audible. Just a minute. I'll go back. Let me check with my. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I remove my headphones so that you people will be able to hear it. Okay, so this was a painted bushwell. The name itself depicts that it has a different colors. That is why it is called as a painted bushwell. Then another bird, which is a rock bushwell. Now again, you see this bird is restricted to the semi-arid region of India and some arid region of India. Again, this bird is found in grasslands, scrublands. You will be able to find this bird in Paltan area. It's a very, I will say, very skulker and shy bird. It's very difficult to see unless and until you go so close, it doesn't move. And once you go close to this bird, it suddenly flies. And that's how you will be able to see this bird. Let's listen to the call of this bird as well. Try to listen a call which is continuous, okay? Because a couple of more birds are also calling there, and those people who are living especially in the villages and the countryside will be able to understand this voice because it can be easily heard over there. I have seen this bird in Fulton, so you have better chance to see this bird. A bird is continuously calling in the back, and that is the call of a rock bushwell. So this is another endemic bird found in our area. Now red spurfowl is again a very interesting bird. It is spread across a big area of India, especially the Deccan Plateau and the fringes of the Western Ghats. If you go to any sanctuary in the Western Ghats of Maharashtra, you will be able to see that bird. And if you go to Vidarbha or Central Indian forest, you will be able to see this bird. Very interesting bird. And I will play the call of this bird. It looks like a grey jungle fowl or Marathi मध्ये आपण त्याला जंगली कोंबडी म्हणतो तशापैकी आहे, पण जंगली कोंबडी वेगळी आहे. I will show that also. So this was the call of painted spurfowl, and this is grey jungle fowl. He is again an endemic bird, and if you see this bird, it is again restricted to part of Western Ghats and some part of Central India, and you can find them up to Rajasthan. And rest of the India, if you go, you will find red jungle fowl. which is ancestor of all our chickens or hens or poultry birds. So the grey jungle fowl and red jungle fowl, they actually separate their niche in India like this. The western part of India is covered by grey jungle fowl, and the northern eastern part of the range is covered by red jungle fowl. Let's listen to the call of this bird. It can be easily seen even if you just travel 10 kilometers from Pune towards the west. You will be able to see this bird. If you're not able to see this bird, you can hear this bird, and many of you might have heard this call. Not this one, the bird will call, and it is very similar to our pigeon. So this is a male bird calling. And another bird is responding to this bird.
Sir, actually, the voice of that particular bird is not audible clearly here. I don't know what happened exactly.
Just a minute, I will play it again. So there are two birds basically, they are calling to each other. I will play it again. So the first call, which is high pitch, that belongs to the grey jungle fowl. Not this one, the bird will call now. Yes, this is the call of the grey jungle fowl. Okay, was it audible?
No, sir.
Just a minute. I'll just increase the volume of the. Let me increase the volume. Was it audible now?
Yet not.
There is some issue, I guess. You can't hear anything?
Your voice is audible, but the bird sound is not audible.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me see the setting. So, setting. Audio. Speaker. Can you hear this ring?
Yes.
Okay, let me share it again. I'll play the call again so that you'll be able to hear it. Was it audible?
No, sir.
No, sir. Let's go to the next bird and see whether it is audible or not.
Okay, sir.
So this bird is a Nilgiri wood pigeon, and as its names suggests, wood pigeon means the pigeon which lives in the wood. And then Nilgiri is the name given to it because it was first reported from the Nilgiri hills. And if you see the distribution of this bird in India, it is restricted to the Western Ghats and some part of Deccan Plateau. And this bird is nomadic. That means it doesn't stay at one place for a long time. It actually keep traveling throughout Western Ghats in search of food. That is why it is called as a Nilgiri wood pigeon, and it travels a lot, nomadic in behavior. It feeds on figs, especially Jiwadachi, Ombrachi, फळं असतात त्याच्यावरती खास ते खायला ते फिरतात आणि जिथे जिथे वडाला किंवा उमराला फळं येतात त्या ठिकाणी तुम्हाला बघायला मिळू शकते बट दे आर restricted to the forested areas. I'll play the call of this bird and you please give me your feedback about the call.
Yeah, now sound is audible.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so this is how the bird calls, and if you go to the forested area and if you listen to this call, you might be able to see this bird. The best place to see this bird, especially in Maharashtra, the Chandoli Wildlife Sanctuary, Koyna Wildlife Sanctuary, and Tambli Ghat Wildlife Sanctuary in Pune. You'll be able to see this bird, but the bird is very shy. It prefers thick forest and rarely seen. Well, let's go to the next bird. Again, this is a green pigeon. There is a particular family of this bird, like wood pigeon, green pigeon, imperial pigeon. So this bird belongs to a green pigeon subgroup. It is also called, earlier it was called as a pompadour pigeon, but now it is called as a grey-fronted green pigeon. And you see they are restricted to the Western Ghats, and some population is there in the part of Eastern Ghats. Okay, and as you see, this bird is sitting on the fig tree. वडाचं झाड आहे त्याच्यावरती बसलेला bird हा, and they ferociously feed on figs. They love figs. If you go to any forest in Maharashtra, especially good forest, and if you get banyan tree or the fig tree, and if you spend 1 or 2 hours there, you will be able to see a lot of birds. And if you're lucky, then you will be able to see grey-fronted green pigeon, Nilgiri wood pigeon, as well as the yellow-footed green pigeon, which is state bird of Maharashtra. This is a very interesting bird, although comparatively rare than yellow-footed green pigeon. I'll play the call of this bird. Listen to the melodious sound, melodious whistle. They live in a group of 10, 12 birds, and very beautiful bird and very melodious song. But again, they are restricted to the dense forests of Maharashtra, Western Ghats of Maharashtra. Okay, this is very interesting bird, Malabar parakeet. It looks like a rose-ring parakeet which we keep in the cages, but this is a very different bird. It is called as a Malabar parakeet. It was also called as the Baba Budangiri's parrot. Baba Budangiri Hills is a, I'll show on the map. Can you see the cursor? Cursor on the map? Can I get some feedback?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you see the cursor, I'm showing the area. This is a part of Karnataka and Kerala border. And here you can see some areas which is called as the Baba Budangiri Hills. And the parrot was also named after that. So there was one Olia living in that particular hill, and he kept a lot of parakeets. And those parrots were, these parakeets were so fluent in talking that they were what I would say, actually imitating the ayats of Quran. That is why they are called as Baba Budangiri's parrot. Interestingly, this bird is traded heavily. And you won't believe there are thousands and thousands of Malabar parakeet in Pakistan and Bangladesh. Because these parakeets were caught here and smuggled to Pakistan and Bangladesh, and they are bred there. And you can see thousands of them. And the price of this bird is also very high. One pair would fetch around 25,000 rupees. So that is what the price of this bird is. I'll play the call of this bird, and if you want to see this bird, you can go to Tamini Wildlife Sanctuary in Pune or Bhimashankar Wildlife Sanctuary in Pune or Chandoli, Koyna, Radhanagiri. These are the best places to see this bird in Maharashtra. The call is very similar to our rose-ring parakeet, but slightly different, high-pitched. So it's a very beautiful bird. Earlier it was called as a blue-wing parakeet because this parakeet has a blue color in its tail and wing. That is why it was called as a blue-wing parakeet. Also has a neck ring, blue colored neck ring. Very beautiful bird. This is again a very interesting bird called as a mottled wood owl. It is called as a mottle because its plumage looks like a mottle. And if you see this bird and the background, this is a crocodile bark tree. The bird actually tries to matches with the crocodile bark tree. And wherever there is a crocodile bark trees in the forest, you are likely to see this particular owl. If you see the distribution, it is spread across India. It is found everywhere. It used to found in Pakistan as well, but now it is not found over there. And this bird is very interesting. Its call is more than interesting because if you hear this call in the pitch dark, then you are likely to get scared. And you can see this particular bird in Fulton area. If you go towards the grasslands of Insurni and other parts of that, those other villages, these birds are there. If there are some good trees over there, then you are likely to hear them. Seeing is very difficult. I will play the call. Some of you might have already heard this call somewhere. So this was about the mottled wood owl, and it was a very interesting bird. Now the second bird is a forest owlet on which I did my PhD, and I can talk about this bird for hours, but we do not have that much time. But this is a very interesting bird. It was once considered extinct. The last specimen of this bird was collected in 1884 in Khandesh, the Nandurbar district right now. And again, in 1996, Ben King and Pamela Rasmussen, these two American ornithologists came to India. They searched the bird, they found the bird. And after that, we got a project and I worked on this species in Nandurbar district. Interestingly, though this is an owl, the call of this bird is very different. I play this call and it resembles the quail or kokil saka awaaz hai. मागे पण खूप पक्षी ओरडतात but the kuhu kuhu that call that belongs to owl, and this is the only owl which has such a melodious call. And let's see the distribution. So if you see this green and red color, these are the areas where this bird is found, and it is restricted to, if you see this box, India map and the box over there. So the bird is not found outside this box. It is only restricted to this area. It is again restricted to the dry deciduous forests of central India and northern western Ghats and some parts of eastern Ghats as well. But now they are only confined to the Melghat Tiger Reserve, the Yawal Wildlife Sanctuary, Torumal area, some parts of Shulpaneshwar Sanctuary in Gujarat, then Tansa Wildlife Sanctuary in Thane Palghar district, and some parts of Thane Palghar district. So that's all. So these are the places where the bird is found. You can see spots, like the blue dots and the green dots, yellow dots and the red dots. These are the places where the bird is currently found. These triangles, they are the earlier locations or the older records of this species, but now they are not found there. So they are restricted to this particular region only. So that was about the forest owl. Let's move to the next bird. Malabar barbet. Now you might be wondering why there is a name like Nilgiri and Malabar. So all these birds were collected from the region, the Malabar coast or the Nilgiri hills. That is why they are called as a Malabar barbet or the Nilgiri wood pigeon. Okay, so this name itself signifies that they are endemic to that area. But the birds, though they collected from that area, they have a wider distribution. And let's see this interesting bird, that is Malabar barbet. It is similar to the bird which is found in our area, that is coppersmith barbet. And you can see this, it is restricted to tip of the southern tip of the northern Western Ghats to the southern Western Ghats. Very interesting bird. It needs a crestline forest, and the crestline forest is only found in few locations in Maharashtra. That is why it is rarely seen in Maharashtra. I have seen this bird in Koina Wildlife Sanctuary, Chandli Wildlife Sanctuary, Radhanagari. So these are the places I have seen them. But it is possible that you can get this bird in Tamil Wildlife Sanctuary in Pune also. But we wouldn't need to go and search the bird actively. Let's listen to the call of this bird. Very low pitched call. It's a very small bird, the size of a sparrow. So this was the Malabar barbet. White-cheeked barbet is another barbet which is slightly bigger in size, and you can see this bird spread across the Western Ghats and some part of Eastern Ghats as well. And very interesting bird. You can see them here in Western Satpura as well. That is why I wanted to talk about some birds, some species which are endemic. We call them endemic to a particular region, but sometimes they happen to have their population in other areas which are have a similar kind of a habitat or the vegetation or the ecosystem. So that is possible. Let's hear this call. You might have heard this call in your area also, because sometimes when there is a lot of rainfall, these birds tend to migrate towards the area with a low rainfall.
Sir, will you play it one or two times because the length is very short?
Sure. So now the next bird is
Girish sir,
yes.
you can use both the languages. You can use Marathi also.
Okay, fine. So Malabar grey hornbill is another bird. मराठीमध्ये याला मलबारी राखी धनेश असं पण म्हटलं जातं. हा पण पक्षी मोस्टली फळांवर आपली गुजरण करतो, आणि जिथे दाट जंगल आहे तिथे हा पक्षी तुम्हाला सहज बघायला मिळू शकतो. आपल्याकडे जो सापडतो तो राखी धनेश म्हणून असतो. त्याला दोन चोचीवर एक चोच असते, त्याला कास म्हणतात इंग्लिशमध्ये. सो इट हॅज 2 कास, दॅट इज वाय हॉर्नबिल. हॉर्नबिल हे नाव कशामुळे पडलेलं आहे तर त्याच्या चोचीवरती दुसरी चोच असते आणि ती शिंगासारखी दिसते, म्हणून त्याला हॉर्नबिल म्हणतात. किंवा मराठीमध्ये शिंग चोच्या असेही नाव आहे किंवा धनेश असेही नाव आहे. सो मलबार ग्रे हॉर्नबिल अगेन एक इंटरेस्टिंग बर्ड आहे, and you can find them find distributed throughout the northern and southern Western Ghats. Bhimashankar पासून ते कन्याकुमारी त्याचं distribution आहे. And if you go to Bhimashankar or Tamini, you can see this bird. Very interesting call. It resembles human being. लहान मुलाच्या ओरडण्यासारखा कधी आवाज असतो. ते जंगलात ऐकणं असं कधी कधी भीतीदायक पण ठरू शकतं. So that was about the Malabar grey hornbill. Now Nilgiri pipit, this is hypothetical species to the Maharashtra. कारण महाराष्ट्र हायपोथेटिकल म्हणजे काय की कदाचित महाराष्ट्रामध्ये सापडत असावी ही स्पीसीज. कारण याचं जर डिस्ट्रीब्युशन बघितलं तर हा अगदी रिस्ट्रिक्टेड आहे निलगिरी हिल्स मध्ये. निलगिरी हिल्स सोडून दुसरीकडे कुठेही सापडत नाही जगामध्ये. पण अशी काही क्लेम्स आहेत की हा पक्षी बघितला गेलाय आपल्याकडे लोणावळ्याला, बट इट इज येट टू बी प्रूव्हन. This bird is a very particular to its habitat. म्हणजे तो ज्या अधिवासात सापडतो ते फार युनिक आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये कसं की दऱ्यांमध्ये जंगल असतं आणि जे डोंगर उतार आहेत त्याच्यावरती खूप ग्रास असतं. अशा ठिकाणचे जे हॅबिटेट आहे तिथे हा निलगिरी पिपीट सापडतो. त्याचाही आवाज ऐकूया आपण. मी पण हा पक्षी माझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये एकदाच बघितलेला आहे, ते पण निलगिरी हिल्स मध्ये. तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना ऐकून माहित असेल उटी नावाची जागा. उटी ही जागा निलगिरी हिल्स मध्ये किंवा कुर्ग ही निलगिरी हिल्स मध्ये. आवाज ऐकूया आपण त्याचा. हा त्याचा आवाज होता निलगिरी पिपीटचा. नेक्स्ट बर्ड बघू आपण मलबार लार्क. परत बघा सारखी सारखी नाव आहेत, निलगिरी, मलबार. ही जी नावं आहेत ही बरीचशी एंडेमिक बर्ड जे आहेत त्यांच्याशी असोसिएटेड. मलबार लार्क again very interesting species confined to the Western Ghats, but whenever there is a heavy rainfall in that area, these bird tends to come towards the low rainfall area. म्हणजे जेव्हा खूप जास्त पाऊस पडतो आपल्या पश्चिम घाटामध्ये तेव्हा हे पक्षी कमी पावसाच्या प्रदेशाकडे येतात. तुम्हाला फलटणमध्ये खास करून जेव्हा खूप पाऊस पडतो इकडे जुलै ऑगस्ट मध्ये तेव्हा हा पक्षी पाहायला मिळू शकतो. जिकडे जिकडे ग्रासलँड आहे फलटणमध्ये इकडे. व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बर्ड आहे, त्याचे खूप सुंदर कॉल आहे. हा पक्षी जिथे घरटे करतो ते परत युनिक हॅबिटेट आहे. म्हणजे हे पक्षी जिथे सापडतात ते ग्रासलँड टाईप ऑफ किंवा जे ऍग्रिकल्चर फील्ड आहेत अशा ठिकाणी तुम्हाला सापडतील जेव्हा ते मायग्रेट करून येतात. पण जेव्हा ते ब्रीडिंग करतात तेव्हा मात्र एक विशिष्ट प्रकारच्या हॅबिटेट मध्ये करतात. लॅटरायटिक प्लॅटू आहेत आपल्या वेस्टर्न घाट्समध्ये, त्याच्यावरती नेस्ट करतात. आता लॅटरायटिक प्लॅटू म्हटल्यावर काही जणांना जिओलॉजी असेल झालेलं त्यांना कळेल मी कशाबद्दल बोलतोय. किंवा कास्त पठार सगळ्यांनी नाव ऐकलं असेल. तर कास्त पठार जे आहे ते लॅटरायटिक प्लॅटू वरती आणि अशा प्लॅटू वरती हा घरटे करतो. त्यामुळे युनिक हॅबिटेट मध्ये राहतो हा. याचाही आवाज ऐकूया आपण, खूप सुंदर आवाज आहे याचा. हा मलबार लार्क आहे. आता एक दुसरा पक्षी आहे की जो कॉमन आहे, व्हाईट स्पॉटेड फॅन्टेल. हा पण एंडेमिक आहे इंडियासाठी, पण आपल्याकडे वेस्टर्न घाट्स अँड अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया दिसतो. इंटरेस्टिंगली जर बघाल मध्ये तर असं मला गॅप दिसेल, बट आपल्याकडे एक्सप्लेनेशन नाही आहे की असं गॅप का आहे आणि इथे का सापडत नाही. आय डोंट नो व्हॉट इज दी पॉसिबल एक्सप्लेनेशन फॉर दिस, but maybe this area is more drier than other areas, and the habitat is more of a grassland and scrubland type. This bird prefers kind of forested wooded areas, but in Fulton you can find this bird very easily. You can see this bird in your garden also. I play this call. You might have listened this call in your gardens. मराठीत या पक्षाला नाचरा असे म्हणतात, कारण हा एका जागी स्थिर राहत नाही कधी.
Hello, sir. The sound is
Just
not
a minute, I will play it again. Is it audible now?
No, sir.
There is some problem with this call. I think let's go to the next bird. If you want to listen to these calls, you can just Google the name and say call. You can go on the website and check the calls. You can hear this call. I think there is some issue with some calls, because some calls I can hear them properly on my computer, but I don't know why they are not audible to you. Now this is Malabar bullshrike. This is again a very less observed or less seen birds. Very few people in India have seen this bird, but if you go towards the southern Western Ghats, you can see this bird in Kalkad Mundan Thurai or Mukurti National Park. These are the areas where you can see this bird very easily. It needs a particular kind of a thick forest where you can see this bird. And if you see the tip of the northern Western Ghats, the Surat Dang area. So this particular area is Surat Dang, the Shumpanishwar Sanctuary of Gujarat. Here you can see this bird. Then there is a gap, but this bird is found elsewhere also. In Tansawal Sanctuary it can be seen. Some people have claimed that they have seen in Bhimashankar as well, but there are no confirmed records. Okay, so let's try to listen to the call of this bird and give me a feedback whether you are able to hear this sound or not. The bird was continuously calling. Were you able to hear that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Play it again. Play it again. Grey-headed bulbul. Very interesting, very beautiful looking bird. Just look at the color and eye of this bird. This bird doesn't look like bulbul. It looks something else, but very. I don't know how this taxonomists have placed this bird in this particular category. In my opinion, it should be a different category itself. Okay, anyway, forget about it. So again, Western Ghats, from northern Western Ghats to southern Western Ghats, that is how it is distributed. It also prefers moist deciduous and evergreen kind of a forest. And let's play the call of this bird. It is only found in Sindhudurg district and Kolhapur district of Maharashtra. So this was how the call of the bird was. Now, Nilgiri thrush, interestingly, you can see this entire peninsula in India, and you see a spot over here, purple color spot in the map. I have placed my cursor over there, and the only record we have found is here, and there is very little information about distribution of these species is available. That is why the map is not available here, and no call is recorded. Hardly few people in the world have seen this bird. But this bird exists, and this bird is very cryptic, very shy. It is called as skulker. Very efficiently, it merges with the background, and it lives on the floor. And the floor of the forest, which is very thick. म्हणजे जिकडे घनदाट जंगल असतं आणि खाली खूप पालापाचोळा असतो आणि हा पक्षी तिथे लपून त्याचा अन्न शोधतो. आणि त्याचं कलर जर तुम्ही बघितला तर असंही बघताना आपल्याला सहजासहजी लक्षात येत नाही. जर तो जिथे गर्द झाली आहे, लाईट कमी आहे, अशा ठिकाणी पाल्यापाचोळ्यात बसला तर दिसणार देखील नाही. तर त्याच्यामुळे याची सायटिंग खूप कमी आहे. याच्या आवाजाबद्दल आपल्याला ऑलमोस्ट काही माहिती नाही. याच्या इकॉलॉजी बद्दल पण फार कमी माहिती आहे. पण असं निलगिरी थ्रश आहे. त्याचे काही रेकॉर्ड आहेत कोल्हापूर डिस्ट्रिक्ट मधनं, पण त्याचे बाकी काही फार रेकॉर्ड अवेलेबल आहेत. आवाजाविषयी माहिती नाही आपल्याला. पुढे जाऊया आपण दुसरा बघू. मलबार विस्लिंग थ्रश डिस्ट्रीब्युशन बघाल तर तुम्ही वेस्टर्न घाट्स आणि सातपुड्याचा बराचसा भाग याने कव्हर केलेला आहे. ह्याचा आवाज जो आहे तो भारतात 2 पक्षी आहेत की ज्यांचा आवाज खूपच सुंदर असतो. इंडियन शामा किंवा व्हाईट रन शामा आणि मलबार विस्लिंग थ्रश असं हे 2 पक्षी आहेत. आता मलबार विस्लिंग थ्रशला विस्लिंग स्कूल बॉय असंही म्हटलं जातं. मी आवाज प्ले करतो त्याचा. फॉर्च्युनेटली तुम्हाला ऐकायला येईल आवाज असं वाटतं मला. कोणीतरी माणूसच शिकले पाहिजे असं वाटते. आवाज येतो ना ऐकू?
No, sir, not clearly. It may be some technical issue, sir. You can go ahead.
Another interesting species, white-bellied blue flycatcher. It's a male, female, नर आणि मादी पक्षी आहेत. जर तुम्ही बघितला तर याचा एक पर्टिक्युलर हॅबिटॅट मध्ये हा पक्षी सापडतो. जिथे घनदाट जंगल आहे, जिथे झाडांची कॅनोपी जी आहे, जे झाडांचं आपण छत म्हणू, ते एकमेकांना जुळतं आणि सूर्यप्रकाश जमिनीवर जिथं पोहोचत नाही अशा टाईपचं जे जंगल आहे तर तिथे हा पक्षी दिसतो. आणि तिथे खूप प्रमाणात मॉस येतं. आणि हे दोन्ही पक्षी जर बघितले तुम्ही ज्या फांदीवर बसलेले आहेत त्या फांदीला खाली मॉस दिसतं. म्हणजे अशा ठिकाणी तुम्ही गेलात की जिथे हे मॉस आहे झाडांवर वाढलेलं तर तिथे हा पक्षी पाहायला मिळण्याची शक्यता आहे. खूप तसा डिफिकल्ट आहे ह्या पक्षाला पाहणं. पुण्यामध्ये तांबडीतले काही भाग, त्याच्यानंतर कोयना, चांदोली, राधानगरी, अंबा यासारखी जी जंगलं आहेत पश्चिम घाटातली तिथे हा सहजासहजी दिसू शकतो. पण तुम्ही त्या पर्टिक्युलर हॅबिटॅटला जायला पाहिजे. तुम्ही गेला तर तुम्हाला हा दिसायला मिळू शकतो. मी आवाज प्ले करतो, होपफुली आवाज येईल ऐकू. पुढच्या पक्षाकडे जाऊया आपण. इंडियन स्केमेटर बॅबलर. परत हा पक्षी बघितला तर वेस्टर्न घाट्स, सातपुडा, विदर्भातली जंगलं, काही प्रमाणात ईस्टर्न घाट्स इथे पसरलेला आहे. मध्ये जो गॅप दिसतोय दॅट इज अ व्हेरी ड्राय एरिया, ग्रासलँड, स्क्रबलँड एरिया. सो इट इज नॉट फाउंड ओव्हर देअर. याचाही आवाज इंटरेस्टिंग आहे. तुम्हाला कदाचित जे लोक जंगलात गेले त्यांनी ऐकलंही असेल कारण तसं कॉमन आहे हा पक्षी. Next bird open. Rufous babbler. Scimitar babbler and Rufous babbler are from the same family, babbler family. Again, this bird is found south of Mumbai till Kanyakumari. They live in a group. मराठीमध्ये त्यांना नाव नाहीये पण सातबाई असं म्हटलं जातं बॅबलरच्या ग्रुपला. तर त्या बॅबलर सातबाईच्याच फॅमिली मधला हे पक्षी आहेत. ते पण 7-8च्या संख्येने राहतात. So Indian broad-tailed grassbird, again very rare bird. Very few people have seen this bird. I'm in this field almost for 22 years, and I saw this bird last year in Pune. So if you see the distribution, it is found in northern western Ghats only this part, and then there is a gap, and again you find this bird in southern western Ghats. Then again there is a Palghat gap, and the bird is again seen till Kanyakumari region. So very interesting distribution. We don't know much about this species. It has a unique call. And if you want to see this bird, you can come to Pune and you can visit forts like Torna, Sinhagad, and you may be able to see this bird if you are lucky. Indian yellowtit, again it is widely distributed species but restricted to India only. In Falton also you can see this bird, especially during the season of monsoon, because when there is heavy rainfall in Western Ghats, these birds tend to migrate towards the dry region. Nilgiri flower picker, the name itself indicates that it is restricted to Western Ghats. Earlier it was called as a plain flower picker, but I spoke about the validity of the species. So that time the plain flower picker was found in Northeast India as well as in Western Ghats. But when they did the morphological study, they realized that these are two different species. So plain flower picker was considered as a endemic to South Asia. But now, because of the split between these two, plain flower picker and Nilgiri flower picker, the Nilgiri flower picker become endemic to Western Ghats. So now the species plain flower picker isn't valid because it is now split. Now there is a plain flower picker which is again we can call it as a endemic to South Asia. But now Nilgiri flower picker become an independent species which is confined to the Western Ghats. The high-pitched call belongs to the Nilgiri flower picker. Small sunbird, again if you see in Western Ghats also, it is confined to the crestline forest. It needs a particular kind of forest where it survives. It is not found anywhere else. It needs tall trees, good canopy, evergreen, semi-evergreen kind of a forest. It's having a high pitch call. It looks like a sunbird which is found in our area, that is purple rum sunbird, but this is a different one. It's a small in size. Now this is a very interesting bird. It's called a Pegasus sunbird. It is confined to the northern Western Ghats and some parts of southern Western Ghats. But its main area is in northern Western Ghats, and I think it should be stated as a state bird of Maharashtra because most of its range falls in Maharashtra. And this is our last bird, that is Malabar white-headed starling. Malabar starling is also called as a Malabar starling. It is confined to the southern Western Ghats, but they migrate during the rains towards northern Western Ghats in search of ficus fruits. Okay, so it is possible also that you will be able to see this species in Falton area, especially in the especially during the monsoon season. Let's hear its call. So now just have a look at the threatened birds which are endemic to our northern Western Ghats. The forest owlet is a globally endangered species. Nilgiri wood pigeon is a vulnerable. Indian broad-tailed grass bird is vulnerable, and Nilgiri pipit is a near threatened. So these are the threatened and near threatened birds found in our northern Western Ghats. That's why this is again a unique place. Now, why endemic birds are threatened now? या पक्ष्यांना कशाचा धोका आहे? So major threats to these birds are habitat destruction, म्हणजे त्याच्या आदिवासी रासवड, जंगलाची तूट आहे, किंवा मायनिंग आहे, किंवा बाकीचे काही डेव्हलपमेंटल प्रोजेक्ट्स आहेत, त्याच्यामुळे त्याचा जो आदिवास आहे त्याचं नुकसान होतं, त्याच्यामुळे त्यांना धोका आहे. रॅपिड इंडस्ट्रियलायझेशन अँड पोल्युशन, lot of areas of Western Ghats are now declared as industrial zones, and lot of pollution is happening. Global warming and climate change, poaching and illegal trade. We'll go one by one. So deforestation, and this is a picture from Kolhapur region, where you can see on the right hand side is a very good forest, but on the left hand side everything is destroyed. So in Maharashtra, especially in Western Ghats, there is a lot of Malki forest. Malki's jungle असं म्हटलं जातं. These are privately owned forests where people can get permission from forest department and just clear out the forest. So this is one of the example, and you can see the fence also. So this part belongs to a private owner. That is why he cleared the forest, but rest of the part is a government forest, so it is still good, in good condition. So deforestation is there. Illicit wood cutting, lot of wood cutting is happening on private lands especially, and this particular kind of a threat is really dangerous to the survival of several species, and it is still going on. Road widening, so this is another threat. A lot of roads are going across the forest, and for road widening you have to cut down the trees, you have to dig, you have to level the land. So all these aspects actually disturb the habitat or destroy the habitat. Mining, Western Ghats and mining is everyone knows about this problem, especially in Goa and Karnataka. It's a huge problem. In Maharashtra also, in Kolhapur district, the main ore found over there is iron, bauxite, manganese. These are the not rare. These are the ores or minerals found in this area. So these are excavated from the mines, and for mining you have to cut down the forest. So this is the open cast mining. So very dangerous for the wildlife, for the birds, even for the human beings. Expansion of agriculture. This is another threat. We are expanding agriculture because the population of humans are growing, and to fulfill the food requirement of the population, we need to grow more food. For more food, we need more land, and for more land, we need to we destroy the habitat. Windmills. Everybody knows Satara, Kolhapur, especially Satara and Sangli region are famous for this. Some part of Ahmednagar as well. And for windmills, you need to destroy the habitat, and you need to pave out the roads. And while paving roads, you need to cut down the forests. So windmills is another threat to the species. Forest fire, everybody knows. Even the grassland fires or savanna fires are common in our area. They destroy the habitat, and they destroy the habitat of the bird. And the habitat of the endemic bird or any bird is very useful for the human beings. We will see why I am talking this. Rapid industrialization and pollution, I have already talked about. Global warming, everybody knows global warming and climate change, and you see what is happening. This is the image of 2003 polar image. If you see, the dark color is water, and the light color, the saffron and the yellowish light color is ice. And if you see 2008 picture, you see a lot of dark color, and that means the ice is thinning and there is a lot of water instead of ice. Here also the picture from Himalaya. If you see 2003 picture, you see a lot of ice over there, but in 2008 there is no ice at all. So this is what at this pace or the speed the ice melting is happening, and this is a really threat to not only to the birds but to the human beings as well. Poaching and illegal trade, everybody knows poaching happens, illegal trade is happening. Some beautiful birds or the birds which are monsters, they are caught especially for that particular characteristics of the bird, and that is creating problem for the species. Now, why these endemic birds are important? हे का आपल्यासाठी important आहे? तर most of the endemic birds are habitat specialists. मी मगापासून सांगतो की काही बर्ड्सना विशिष्ट टाईपचं जंगल लागतं, आणि ते त्या जंगलाशिवाय ते जगू शकत नाही. आणि ती जी जंगलं आहे ती आपल्याला इकोसिस्टम सर्व्हिसेस म्हणजे परिसंस्था सेवा ज्यांना म्हटलं जातं ते पुरवतात. आणि व्हॉट आर दीज इकोसिस्टम सर्व्हिसेस? वॉटर, पाणी आपल्याला कुठून मिळतं? ते पाणी जंगलात पडतं पावसाचं, ते पाणी जंगलातून हळूहळू झिरपते, ते नद्यांमध्ये येतं, नदीमध्ये आपण डॅम केलेले, त्या डॅममुळे आपल्याला शेतीला पाणी मिळतं, प्यायला पाणी मिळतं. आज महाराष्ट्रातली कुठलीही तुम्ही सिटी घ्या, ती पाण्यावरती डिपेंडेंट आहे, ती वेस्टर्न घाट्सवरतीच डिपेंडेंट आहे. आणि जर वेस्टर्न घाट्स नसतात तर या सिटीची ग्रोथ झाली नाही. स्पेशली पुणे, मुंबई किंवा कोल्हापूर, सातारा या सगळ्या सिटी आहेत, त्या सिटी वेस्टर्न घाट्सच्या पाण्यावरती 100% अवलंबून आहेत. जर वेस्टर्न घाट्स मध्ये जंगल राहिले तर या सिटीचं भवितव्य धोक्यात येईल. कारण या जंगल परिसंस्था सेवा प्रोव्हाइड करतात आणि त्या परिसंस्था सेवा आपल्याला महत्वाच्या आहेत. रेग्युलेशन ऑफ क्लायमेट जे आहे, पावसाचं जे पॅटर्न आहे तो चेंज होतं. याचं कारण आपण जे इकोसिस्टम नष्ट करतो ते आहे. फर्टाईल सॉइल, जी माती वाहून जाते जंगलातनं, जी डॅम मध्ये जाते, डॅम मधनं माती काढून लोक वापरतात कारण ती चांगली माती असते, फर्टाईल सॉइल असते. लाईव्हलीहूड म्हणजे लोकांची उपजीविका या जंगलांवरती अवलंबून आहे. भरपूर लोक आजही पूर्णपणे जंगलावर अवलंबून आहेत. त्यांचं लाईफ हे पूर्णपणे जंगलावर अवलंबून आहे, शेती वगैरे सगळ्या गोष्टी. तर ती इकोसिस्टम सर्व्हिस आपल्याला मिळते. प्रोटेक्शन अगेन्स्ट पेस्ट डिसीजेस, बरेचसे जे किडी आहेत किंवा शेतावर पडणारे रोग आहेत, हे जंगल जर चांगलं असेल तर हे रोग त्यांना बाहेर येत नाहीत आणि आपल्या शेती डिस्ट्रॉय करू शकत नाहीत. किंवा जे पक्षी आहेत ते पक्षी या किडींना कंट्रोल करतात. तर ह्या गोष्टी आपल्याला फ्रीमध्ये मिळतात, यासाठी कोणत्याही प्रकारचे पैसे द्यावे लागत नाही. कल्चरल आणि ऍस्थेटिक व्हॅल्यूज आपण सगळ्या आपल्या स्टडी टूर जंगलामध्ये नेतो, समुद्राच्या किनाऱ्यावर नेतो, कारण तिथं आपल्याला शिकायला मिळतं, तिथे गेल्यावर बरंही वाटतं. म्हणून या ज्या सेवा आहेत, या सेवा आपल्याला फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट निसर्ग पुरवत असतो. आणि ह्या ज्या परिसंस्था सेवा, निसर्ग सेवाही आपण यांना म्हणू शकतो, ह्या असोसिएटेड आहेत वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारच्या हॅबिटॅटशी, परिसंस्थेशी. आणि या हॅबिटॅट आणि परिसंस्थेमध्ये बरेचसे पक्षी राहतात ते जे एंडेमिक आहे. त्यामुळे हे एंडेमिक पक्षी आपल्यासाठी का महत्वाचे आहेत, तर आपल्याला या 7-8 ज्या परिसंस्था सेवा आहेत आणि ज्या माणसाच्या जगण्यासाठी खूप इसेन्शियल आहेत, खूप महत्वाच्या आहेत, तेही आपल्याला पुरवतात. त्याच्यामुळे एंडेमिक बर्ड जे आहेत तर त्यांना वाचवणं गरजेचं आहे. धन्यवाद. बऱ्याचशा एक्नॉलेजमेंट मध्ये मला सांगायचं की बऱ्याचशा जे इमेजेस आहेत त्या मी ओरिएंटल बर्ड इमेज किंवा गुगल वेब इमेज वरून घेतलेली आहेत. बरीचशी माहिती जी आहे, मॅप जे आहे ते birdsoftheworld.org आहे त्याच्यावरून घेतलेले आहेत. आणि जे कॉल मी तुम्हाला ऐकवले ते सगळे कॉल झेलो कॅन्टो नावाची एक साईट आहे, त्याच्यावर तुम्ही जाऊ शकता, सर्च करू शकता आणि ऐकू शकता. हे कॉल तुम्हाला याच्यामध्ये ऐकायला मिळालेले नाही, तुम्ही सहज ऐकू शकता. धन्यवाद. मी शेअरिंग स्टॉप करतो आणि आपण प्रश्न आता विचारू. तुम्ही प्रश्न विचारा, मी त्या प्रश्नाची उत्तर देण्याचा प्रयत्न करेन.
I request all the participants, if you